Hello everyone, I am Tiff Jensen and I'm your instructor for CCJ 3701, Research Methods in Criminology. So I'm excited to bring this class to you. We had a great semester last semester and I've had a few of you in the class already in another course, so I'm excited to continue to get to know you. But I wanted to provide this video to you so that you could know what to expect and prepare for class and maybe answer some of those questions that are not so obvious in the syllabus. So let's get started. So first, welcome, and I'll tell you what to expect. I'll also tell you a little bit about me. We have no textbook for this class. However, we will be using software, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Our class goals and what you will learn, my expectations of you, what you should expect from me, others that will be involved in the class, and how to be successful. So let's jump in. So this is me. I did my PhD in sociology and criminology at the University of Oklahoma in 2011. And I also did a master's degree and a bachelor's degree at Southern Methodist University in 2005 and 2007. In my bachelor's degree, I studied sociology, and in my master's degrees, I studied social science and political science. Then, as you can see from the dates, I actually went back to school after my PhD and did a Master of Social Work degree from the University of Louisville in May, actually last year. So I love education, and I wanted to get more skills that would kind of let me practice more of what I was teaching about in criminal justice. So I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But I previously taught at Brigham Young University for over 7 years at the associate professor rank, and I came here for personal and professional reasons, and I love being a Gator, and I hope you do too. So my highest rated course over that period of time and here is actually this course, Social Statistics and Research Methods. So hopefully we continue that streak and I can help make you successful. But this is something I'm passionate about and I love to work on. It's a lot of fun. So this course is kind of like a workshop where we do labs and we work on data and you're kind of crunching through different techniques and stuff like that. So it's different than a lot of other classes you've had, and it kind of makes it fun. It's kind of like a puzzle. So anyway, I'm actually a lot like you. So that degree at University of Louisville, I completed 100% online. So the only thing that I did in person was my social work practice, where I worked in juvenile probation and as a clinical therapist in a drug court where I was supervised. So otherwise, the policy, the jargon, all of those other kinds of things, law, grants, research methods, statistics, everything else was online. So I finished that degree in 2017. That wasn't that long ago. And I know what it's like to be an online student. And that was one of the reasons that I was recruited to come to the University of Florida, is because I know what that's like. So I try to present my material in a way that works for you with the kind of schedule you have. And I know working full-time, having children, pursuing lots of goals and kind of being crunched for time, it's difficult being an online student. I've done it for 3 years. So I know what your challenges can be. Where I've worked, practiced, and partnered, lots of places in criminal justice and in areas that do therapy and programming. So probation offices, drug courts, in health and welfare. I actually was a statistician where I worked on grants for child abuse and foster care. Child abuse prevention, of course. Juvenile justice, shelters, prisons and jails, sheriff's offices, metro or city law enforcement, and police academies. So I've been around the block a while. If you have questions about these kinds of areas or careers, please let me know, and I can try to help you with that. So again, there is no textbook. This class, as I stated earlier, is like a workshop. It's hands-on learning where you're going to be using software and crunching things actively in that software. And I'll be showing you videos step by step of how to do each of the techniques and where to click and how it works and what it means. So the materials are learning are mostly from articles and best practices. The world of research and statistics is a large, broad, shared world across many sciences, and you don't really need that particular book. And actually, quite a few research methods classes and stats classes either use their own textbook or teach it from scratch. So it's an applied manner, kind of like for your job, where we actually do the skills together. We have no discussion boards for this class, but we will have regular group communication. In fact, within the first week or two, I try to get you connected to a lab partner. I know it's been a while since you probably had a lab partner, but it helps to have someone who's working on the same assignment as you and doing the same statistics on the same data, so that if you want to compare answers or you get stuck, kind of like math class, you can do that. And last semester, the class actually created a Google Hangouts site where people could kind of work on homework together and check on stuff before it was due, and that was really helpful. And so I encourage you to do that if you find that that would be useful to you. So our class goals. My job is to get you comfortable using SPSS. I've been using SPSS for, oh wow, over 10 years, and it's kind of the standard statistical program you see used in government and research and industry, and it's been around for a long time. It's been around since the 80s. The latest version is version 24, and IBM recently bought SPSS, and so I'll show you how we're going to use that software in a moment. So my other goal for you is to have you practice the basics of social research, especially as they pertain to studying crime. So we'll talk about surveys, we'll talk about focus groups, all different ways of observing and collecting information about criminal behavior, and how we analyze it and what those best practices are as far as how to get the best data and keep your research as neutral as possible. So we'll bring all these skills together into a research paper report. So this is probably one of the largest papers you're going to write in UF Online, and I'm going to have you submit drafts of it along the way, so it kind of writes itself, and then at the very end you're just assembling it and doing final edits. My expectations of you, you do need to use SPSS software. It is required for class, so make sure you take notice of that. Please be patient, kind of pardon our dust, because I'm still tinkering with this class. It was actually offered totally new for the first time last semester, and I'm still making some changes to it to try to make it better. So again, be patient with me as I do that. Be very hands-on and active. Please communicate often and early for help. It's hard to help you if a lab is due on Friday by midnight and you're calling me at Friday 5 p.m. for help. I'm going to try to make myself available to you, but that means you need to discipline yourself to try to get started a little earlier in the week, so that way you're not doing it last minute. It is a 4-credit class, so between our preparation on your skills, you're going to practice all kinds of skills before you have to actually do it. We have practice labs, final paper. You'll be spending 12 to 16 hours a week on average on this class, and I talked with students last semester and they said that's about right. This course also meets the UF Gordon Rule, and if you didn't know what that was, the University of Florida was given a mandate from the Florida legislature that students will achieve a certain amount of writing and research as part of their collegiate career. And so that requirement has you write 24,000 words of research and writing, and this paper actually helps you create a lot of that. So I am held to that Gordon Rule from the Florida legislature. But we're going to do this together, so it's going to be really, really easy. It'll kind of write itself. I tell people, don't even worry about the pages right now. They're going to start to accumulate as we go. So what you should expect from me, you should expect email responses between 24 and 48 hours. Occasionally on the weekends or holiday weekends, I might be a little slow if I'm traveling. So I check email hourly and I try to get to you if I can, but if I don't have cell service or access to email, it's a little harder. But I do make myself available in the evenings and on the weekends because you're online. That's when you're probably going to be working. You can even call me during your lunch hour at work or something like that if you need to. I do make myself available for phone calls and Skype sessions and FaceTime. If you want to sit and code some data together over the phone, we can do that. I did that many times with students. Don't be shy. I also have 2 graduate teaching assistants and tutors assigned to this class that can be very, very helpful. My virtual office hours officially for working on the class is between 9 a.m. and 12 noon Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, so you can always catch me during that time. And my job is also to provide reassurance to you when you make mistakes, because that's how we learn, and that's why you're here. You will make a mistake in data. You will run the wrong statistic. That will happen. You will code something wrong. All of those things are going to happen, and I plan on it. So plan on getting messy and trying some things, because actually people that make the most mistakes tend to do the best in the class because they get a deeper learning than most other people. So don't be afraid to get messy. All right, let's talk about SPSS. Some people have been in this package before, maybe in an earlier statistics class. Other people maybe have never been in it. You don't really need any help or user guides, although some people like them. I had a handful of students get SPSS for Dummies, and they had a lot of screenshots, and they kind of appreciated seeing it. But most students did fine without it, and it's not really necessary. So I suggest that as an option if you'd like to have it, but you really don't need it. Most people won't need it. So how do you get the free version of SPSS? Well, University of Florida provides that to you courtesy of your tuition and fees. So if you go to apps.ufl.edu, which is right here, you'll have to sign in with your GatorLink ID and password, but then you'll go through a couple of steps to launch what we call the Citrix receiver, which is basically just a virtual private network to let you use kind of a virtual desktop version of SPSS. And SPSS stands for Statistical Packages for the Social Sciences, and basically it'll open up a new window where you can work in SPSS. So that's the free version. It's available all the time. And most students used it pretty regularly and did fine in it. So that's available to you. However, I tell people you need to get more comfortable with saving things to certain places, because if you save things to this server, it is a temporary drive and it does get wiped pretty much every night. So you need to learn how to make sure you save to your desktop or save to a known location so you don't lose your work. And it allows you to do that. And I kind of show you some of the places you can do that. So that's the free version. You also have a version that you can buy. So if you want to actually install the software directly on a computer or laptop, you can go to this website and buy your own license. It's called onthehub.com, right here, and it's spelled just that way, ONTHEHUB, onthehub.com. On the Hub is basically an educational software vendor, which gives educational discounts to students at universities to buy software for the computers. And it's usually packages that don't become standard on a machine. So all you have to do is search for SPSS on their main page. You can buy it for Windows or Mac. You just have to select which operating system you're using, and you can either purchase the 6-month or the 12-month version. 6-month version, last time I checked, was listed at about $55. The 12-month version is $85. But again, this is if you want to install it on your machine. Some people prefer that because they get a little bit better responses sometimes from doing that. That's also why I don't have a textbook, so that way if you need to use some money to install that software, you can. But just make sure if you're going to install the software that you install this exact software. It's called the IBM SPSS Statistics Standard Grad Pack 24. So you want the Standard Grad Pack. The Standard Grad Pack has all of the menus, functions, and options we need for class. Do not buy the base or the basic version, because you will not have the menus and functions you need in order to run the techniques we're doing in class. This is more of an advanced class, so you do need Statistics Standard Grad Pack. And if you're in doubt and about to purchase, you can shoot me a quick email or call me quick and I can verify that for you that you have the right one. But it's a pretty easy download, and then you can use it whenever you want, and again, it performs a little bit better on your machine. But this is not required for you to purchase. You're more than welcome to use the free version on apps.ufl.edu. So please don't feel like you have to buy anything for this class. This is just for those people that prefer that. Okay? It is optional. Others that will be involved in the class. So we have Elizabeth Hartzell and Kenna Carlson. These are my 2 graduate teaching assistants. They're both master's degree students, and they've had this class and many others. So I encourage you to reach out to them, and they will also be using the announcements and communication and participating in grading and discussion on your performance with me in the class. So they're going to be pretty involved with what's going on here. So last but not least, how to be successful in the class. So treat this kind of like a capstone and training course for your criminology career. This is one of the final courses that people take before they graduate. And again, it's 4 credits, so make sure you dedicate the time to this sort of a course. Keep a data log. It's very common that students kind of have their own spiral bound notebook of all their notes when they're running analyses. So you have to jot down lots of identifiers and labels and codes and things like that when you're in SPSS to kind of keep track of all the information that you're going to be working on. And I actually would have students take their smartphones and actually send me screenshots of the kind of things that they're working on, and I could read them and know exactly what they're doing. So if you kind of jot down your stuff you're working on, and it may, especially when you recode variables, that will be a lifesaver, because you're going to be in your data and working on things different times of the day, different days of the week, and you need to know where you left off, and it's easy to lose track of that stuff. So you may just want to keep a spiral bound notebook of your notes of what variables you're working on and what data you're using, so you can remember what you just did last. And then it also helps us troubleshoot when you get stuck. Dedicate time each week to the class. Try to be as consistent as you can, and I very much encourage you to start labs early. Sometimes labs can take a while to do and you get stuck, and if you find yourself getting stuck, that gives you time to reach out to me or one of the teaching assistants, and we can probably get you through it in 5-10 minutes, and then you're done. So that happened a lot, where people were going, it can't be this hard. And I went, no, you're making it harder than it needs to be. And I would show them a little trick or a shortcut or something they're forgetting, and they'd go, oh, thank you so much. And that way they weren't spending hours and hours on something, they only spent minutes on it, and they could move on. So if that becomes you, please tell me. I don't want you to have all these private SPSS headaches by yourself. So make sure you install or obtain your software early, and that's one of our first assignments for the classes, to make sure you get SPSS and that you get everything set up properly. Make sure you also use good file storage habits and naming conventions. So we're going to be in some data sets many, many times doing different things. So you might want to save version 1, version 2, put the dates on it, those kind of things, so you don't make mistakes by opening old stuff that we're not using. Be really honest about what works and what doesn't, what is confusing, things you need that would be useful. You're not going to offend me, because I can absolutely add that stuff midstream, and chances are other students need it too. So anyhow, that's it as far as our welcome to class. Please reach out to me if you have questions, and we'll see you in week 1. Bye.